So once again, you are welcome. We are currently 149 people on the call, and we already have enough quorum to get started. Sorry about the delay, 10 minutes delay, and it's as a result of some technical glitches, but we shall continue to sort them out in the background. But at least we do not want to delay and want to get everything started. I will now request John. John, if you are on, just to lead us in an opening prayer, and then we will get started. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Susan. Let's pray. Dear Lord God, want to thank you for this wonderful opportunity that we have to share knowledge and to empower each other as we strive to build wealth at personal levels. It's my prayer this morning, Lord God, may you come and guide us as we engage and as we learn, and above all, as we put into action what we are going to learn from this webinar. We pray all this in the name of the Almighty God. Over to you, Susan.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much, John. So right now on your screens, for all those that are on their screens, if you're using a computer, right now you are seeing something called a Mentimeter game. I've just also shared the link for those that do not have smartphones, or probably they're using their computers but prefer to use their phones. I've just put in a question there, and we will get started. Yes. So John, confirm that you're able to see. That you're able to see. I'm seeing 20 responses already coming through. Hello?
Yes, Susan, I'm able to see.
You're able to see. Okay. So the first question there is that what is the first word that comes to your mind when you hear bond investing? And people are saying returns, other people are saying long-term investment, other people are saying returns, low-risk investment, safe, passive income. Those are the lending to the government. Others are saying government bonds, passive income, safest form of investments, coupons, low risk. Others are saying cash flows, returns. We have safe. We have safe form of investment. Long term comes through. Yeah. So thank you. Over 50 people have responded. Thank you. So we shall go on to the next question. Have you ever invested in a bond before? Yes. No, no, but I'm interested. We have very many people that have not. So Damali and Nicholas, our guests tonight, just know that very many people have not invested, but they are interested. The number of yeses. No, I do not know. No, I don't know much about them. Those are just about, those are less, but at least we have the majority saying no, but I'm interested. So they are here to get inspired to be able to start their investment journey. So that is for Nicholas, Kasim, and Damali to take note of. Then for those who have invested, through whom did you invest? Did you use a commercial bank, or did you use a licensed broker at the Uganda Securities Exchange? Whom have you used? Yes, I'm seeing some of those that have used the banks. We are now neck to neck for those that have used the bank. Now the ones that have used the broker more. Keep those answers coming in. For those who have invested, did you go through the Uganda Securities Exchange through a broker, that is Crested Capital, Dan Blair, Old Mutual Uganda? Whom did you use? Whom did you use? The majority are saying that they used a licensed broker at the Uganda Securities Exchange. So that's good. That's good. Which of the following is a key feature of bonds? Is it daily trading profits? Is it a fixed interest payment? Is it ownership in a company? What is it? What is a key feature of bonds? Keep those. Most of us, I think, know the answer. Most of us are saying a fixed interest payment. Yeah. The rest of the answers have 0, 0, so that's a good thing. Yes, so that's a very key feature on bonds. And then, what is the minimum amount to start investing in the government bonds in Uganda? Is it 100K, 1 million, 5 million? What do you think is the minimum? Most of us know the minimum. Yeah, the minimum is 100,000. Yes. Thank you for those answers. We're also seeing some of those answers come through the chat sections for those that were not able to use the app. We see those answers coming in. Thank you so much. So what is your main goal for investing? Is it safety? Is it returns? Is it liquidity? Is it predictable income? Is it low minimum investment? Why are you, if you're starting out an investment, what is your key goal for you as an investor? Do you want to be safe? Do you want to be liquid? Do you want to have predictable income? The majority of us are saying that two top runners are predictable income and returns. So predictable income and returns is really taking the day here. Yeah, we see it predictable, yeah, returns. And the third one actually that is emerging is safety, because this is a poll question. So the majority are really saying we really want that return. Yeah. So, and the others are saying at the second level are saying it's predictable income. The next are saying safety, which is so low minimum investment. People are not bad that they have the money. For them, they have the money. What they want is the return. So, which is a good thing. So if you could ask our experienced bond investors, I'll be introducing them shortly. That is Damali and that is Nicholas. And then also Kasim will be giving us a perspective from the brokerage side. What question would you, if you could ask the bond investors, what question would it be? What do you want to take away with? And I also think I'm going to what is your what question I have? Someone is asking, what is your biggest worry? They would want to ask them what is their biggest worry when they're investing. Keep the how to start. How to start. Then someone is how to do bond laddering. How is the earning? People are saying to Funirawa. So Damali, Kasim, and Nicholas, as we are responding today, how to start, how are we earning? Then someone is asking, can I negotiate the coupon interest along the way? How can I negotiate the coupon interest along the way? Then how are the returns realized? Someone is saying, how can I create a bond ladder for monthly income? Then roadmap to invest my little savings periodically. People are saying they want to know how do they start with their little savings. Then what is the highest interest one can make on bonds? The other question would be their simple understanding of the difference between yield and coupons, then how to be an investment professional, how to be an investment professional focused in the bond market, what happens in case of political instability, annual interest rates, can I top up on the bond investment? What happens when the government changes? How safe is an investment in the face of global upheavals? As a retail investor, is it advisable to buy from the secondary market? What is the right amount to maximize the returns on bond investments? Really, oh my God, the questions are many and I can't exhaust them, but I'm going to right now just quickly take a picture of them so that when we are, as we go along for our discussion, we will be tackling these questions and we shall ensure that each of them, because some of them are repeats and others can surely be answered in our discussion. And our investors are not going to shy away. They are really ready to share their hearts in regards to what they have experienced over the years. So we'll just stop it here but I've captured all the questions, the majority of them, and I'm going to be sharing them in due course as we go through the panel. Thank you so much. So I'll just quickly stop sharing. Thank you. So we are close to we are over 194. Thank you for those guests that joined us at the tail end as we had already started. Today our webinar is really focusing on our experiences as bond investors. And here on the call, we did not go to bring market practitioners. Actually, Kasim is here just to be able to guide us on how to get started and the like. But really, the core here, we are really here to listen to Nicholas and Damali, who are active investors on the Uganda Securities Exchange, and they have done it for a while. I'll quickly introduce them. Nicholas Senablia is a seasoned finance operations executive with over 16 years of experience supporting local, regional, and international organizations across Africa, Europe, and North America. He has led in complex portfolios spanning financial management, investment risk, audit, compliance. Nicholas is passionate about financial literacy, long-term wealth creation, and promoting a culture of disciplined investing among professionals and everyday Ugandans. So this is really what he does on the side, but on a normal day, he's also there out on the grind. He's an accountant, an audit, and really doing this work. He's also an active bond investor on the Uganda Securities Exchange. He brings practical, real-world perspectives on investment, decision-making, financial resilience, and building sustainable personal wealth through capital markets. He combines the strategic financial expertise with a strong interest in empowering individuals to make informed investment decisions and participate confidently in Uganda's growing financial markets. So with a thumbs up, emojis of clapping hands, please welcome Nicholas. For all those that are able to clap and just give a thumbs up as we welcome him. And he's right there on the screen. You're able to see him. Then we have Damali Tibugwisa. She's a panelist. She's an ex-panelist and she's an advocate of the High Court of Uganda and a managing partner of Tara Advocates, an award-winning commercial law firm. With over 14 years of experience, Damali is a highly respected legal and governance professional whose expertise spans corporate and commercial law, estates spanning corporate governance, labor law, insolvency, intellectual property, family and wealth preservation. She's a chartered secretary, registered insolvency practitioner, certified family enterprise and wealth management specialist. So Damal is passionate about helping individuals, families, and businesses build sustainable structures for growth, succession, long-term wealth preservation. She's also a sought-after trainer and speaker who has delivered presentations and capacity building programs for leading institutions across Uganda. So with a thumbs up, with an emoji of clapping hands, please do welcome Damali and Nicholas. These are everyday investors. They are auditors, accountants, and lawyers, just like us here, professionals. There are some of us that are already even business people, so welcome them. Then we also have my friend and colleague in the industry, that is Kasim, that is the research and marketing specialist at Dare and Blair. And his daily job is to ensure that you people get the reports, the communication about the next investments, and also to be able to walk the journey with you. So Kasim Mukwaya is really from one of our brokerage firms that is our main participant in the bond market, and Diane Blair has over 15, nearly 20 years, or actually over 20 years experience in Uganda's capital market. So for those that are looking to start investing, before we leave today, you'll have Kasim's contact, and he is also our person. So just with a thumbs up, just welcome him. So we'll go straight into our discussion for today. And I just want to take it up straight to Kasim, and I just wanted to know, Kasim, if for someone, especially we have gotten to know that majority of the people here, they have not invested, but they are interested in investing bonds. If there's one word before today in the simplest language, can you explain what bond investment is, government securities investing is, if those people prefer government securities, but what is it in the simplest terms, in the simplest language for our investors today?
Yes, thank you, Susan. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Welcome today. We are very much pleased to have you join us at the USE Academy as we present to you the movers of the market. So, a bond in one way or the other, uh, in simple terms, for example, imagine, let's say you have, for example, a neighbor. This neighbor has a business that he's been running for some time now, and you've been seeing it. He comes to you, he tells you, I need a loan of 5 million, for example. I need to expand my business, and I'll pay you back probably in a period of 2 years, or any period that they might set. So, but I'll give you an interest on the money that you give me every 6 months, and this would be like a thank you. So you agree, you come onto terms, and then you lend them the money to start up with their business. This is simply what a treasury bond is for the government. Now, instead of your neighbor, now we see the government coming to you and they are borrowing from you. So, for example, every financial year, there is an auction calendar. There is a budget that is set, there is a financial calendar, and then the government sets out what it will be doing and the funds they will need. So that financial year, they set out a financial an auction calendar of how they will collect the funds to support the different government initiatives. So we know when they will need the money throughout the year. So we have this throughout the year, and they are coming to you as the public, collecting um, funds from you, and they promise to pay you on regular intervals at different uh, interests. So we call these coupon payments, and these are the interests that you make throughout the term you're holding the bond. So you choose to lend the money. Let's say, for example, I'll give you for 2 years, or I'll give you my money for 5 years, I'll give you for 10 years, or even beyond that. You can take on 2 years, 5 years, 10 years all together. So a bond is just basically you lending money to the government, and they are paying you coupons or interest on that money every 6 months. And that is basically it, Susan.
Mm. Thank you so much. So what Kasim has just reiterated there, he has said, you know what, this is you having your money and you need someone to lend, and this particular person is the government of Uganda, and you will lend them money for that specific period of time that you personally will choose, and then they'll start paying you certain cash flows against that decision that you have made. That means if you take out a 2-year bond, you'll receive some coupon payments, about 4 coupon payments that you will be receiving. Thank you so much, Kasim. Over to you, Damali. Damali, taking us back to the beginning, what was happening in your life when you decided to invest in bonds? What was that specific moment or conversation that pushed you to start investing? Because I mean, as a lawyer, you could have decided to invest elsewhere, maybe land, property, and I'm sure those things are there, but you say that, this is the market that I want to join. Yeah. What is that reason?
Thank you, Susan. Good morning, everyone. So,
Good morning.
you know that knowledge compounds. And so you hear these stories of people investing in the bond market in different things. But for me, when it crystallized was when I started the law firm. So when you're running a business, cash flows are everything. And so we had seasons when the customers were not, or clients were not coming as much as you'd want them to come. And so you realize that, yes, I have my unit trusts, but I can easily liquidate them. And so I needed a plan that was going to sort of guarantee that when we have a peak in terms of expenses, for example, the last quarter of the year and the beginning of the year are really heavy for us, where we have to do memberships, certifications, and all that. And then you have the retreat and all those activities. From a planning point of view, I needed to have a buffer somewhere. And that buffer was not just sitting, but it was giving me a good return. And so when I was introduced to the bonds, I just realized it was going to help me to manage our cash flows and also have predictability in terms of returns. Because when I just thought about it, I was like, every coupon that we get, if it comes every 6 months, it means that I can plan for that quarter. I mean, for that half of the year or last half of the year. And just in case the money is not flowing as much, then I can tap into that for backup for the cash flows. And why that was important, as you might know, I think you've heard about the bucket theory and the pipeline theory. So for many of us running professional firms like lawyers, you sort of earn in the bucket theory quadrangle, where there are seasons where there's going to be a lot of money. And so just as a bucket can collect water and that water can pour out quickly, even for us. So you receive this money, you spend it out, and then there's nothing left. Unlike the pipeline earners who, it's going to be small money, but it's going to be consistent and predictable. So when I just realized that, there are going to be seasons when the bucket is completely empty, I thought about the bonds and they would fill my bucket. But also, I belong to different investment clubs. So even as investment clubs, we were just trying to assess what is the risk appetite of our members. And we realized that many were risk averse in the first years. They were not willing to go into business, into ventures that were not going to guarantee their principal, and they were not also going to guarantee the return. And so the bonds became an easy place for us to invest. Lastly, sometimes you need to be around someone who has walked the journey. And I have someone very close who previously was not investing in bonds. And then I realized that their lives were changing because they had bonds, from picking school fees from a coupon to, planning a family trip. So I just realized that that was a good opportunity for me, and that's why I invested. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Damali. Huda had just quickly asked what the bucket theory, but I think if I'm to take it from what you have just said, that the bucket theory to ensure that your bucket is not empty. Is that right, Damali? The bucket theory about the money?
Yes,
the
that's
resources?
true.
That
Yes,
it
so
is.
the people that earn a lot, that money comes, it's like a windfall. It comes in quickly, just like water can pour in a bucket. But as wide as the bucket is, it pours out as well, unlike the pipeline. Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much, Damali. So Damali is saying that, as she was starting out, a person, her law firm, she needed money because clients do not just come in that quickly like how she was at her previous employment. So she needed cash flow to be able to come in and cater for those seasons when she did not have resources. Nicholas, the same question to you. What really interested you in starting your life in bonds? To just say that this is the one of those asset classes that I would want in my portfolio. Nicholas, you're mute. Unmute your mic.
All right. Good morning, Suzanne, and good morning, everyone.
Morning,
thanks again for
Nicholas.
the invite. So a bit of similarity with the former speaker, Damali, and also some differences. So for me, really, my journey started from a desire to attain financial stability, really, and really looking at this really long term and thinking of the long term wealth creation. I am an accountant by profession, and along the way, I have been exposed to very many professionals, in different classes. And true, any person who knows being accountants, we get to work so hard. But then the important reality is that sometimes, what will happen when we are not able to work, So I began asking myself that question. And that's really what propelled me to get into the bond market. I also serve as a consultant in my other work. Along the way, I had seen some people who were, a bit, 20 years or senior to me, and their lifestyle between the time when they were earning and when they stopped actively earning changed drastically. And the big point for me was they mentioned that cash flow was the real problem. So for me, what really attracted me or my story is more about predictability, some form of financial stability, and really long-term security. I like the idea of having an instrument that provides regular income. Unlike my colleague Damali, who is in the bucket theory of earning big money, I have not been super lucky to earn very big money big money in a go. I have been relatively stable with my employment, and not that I've been earning so little money, but along the way I've been able to, set aside some money over for a very long time, really, over about a decade. So for me, the moment I said I'm going to do this, actually when I realized that it's not so hard, I was lucky to get in touch with a broker who made the process even simpler. So I made sure, I think the background has just made sure that they're licensed. And then once I decided to start, because I don't earn very, very big money at a go, my backup plan was how do I do this consistently, over a very long period of time. And I think I've been pretty intentional. It's one of the first things I do as soon as I get some small money, one of the first things I do is to set aside money for investing in bonds. So yeah, that's really my story, and my why really is really financial stability, predictability, and think about this long term. And long term, I mean really long term, 25 years from now, 10 years from now. My colleague Kasim was mentioning about 2, 5 and everything. And that helps. But for me, I took the really long term strategy. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nicholas. Nicholas is saying, so Damali is representing the business owners that need money to be able to support themselves on a windfall when there are no windfalls. Then Nicholas is a salaried employee who is saying that, at whatever little he was getting, he was being consistent. And to take note, the both of them have said that it has been over a period of time. And I know sometimes in Uganda, we want Kagwira, or, you want the portfolio speaking in hundreds of millions, but yet we are not willing to do that consistent work. So both for the business people and salaried people, guess what? This is the opportunity to be able to partake and really start small and build it up, just like they have shared. Kasim, back to you. Many Ugandans have investments, just like even Damali was able to mention that they belong to investment clubs, they belong to circles, they have a fixed deposit somewhere. Others even have a savings box out there at home. They have a piggy bank. But what makes bonds feel different from these particular options that they're already plugging into?
Yes. First of all, Susan, I want to commend these options that they have, the circles, the savings box, the fixed deposit. I want to commend them because they are doing something good. They are building a habit whereby they're learning how to save, to keep the money. It's a habit that is commendable for anyone that is interested in growing their money, creating stable cash flows and all that. But again, now the bonds take it a step further, because when you look at the bonds, first of all, the government of Uganda bonds have historically offered the best rates relatively better compared to any commercial bank. For example, on a fixed deposit. If you look at, for example, at the SACCOs, they collect money from the savings members, maybe lend to the savings members with a small interest, and this is, again, they look at where they will put the money or invest, again, to make some money on the savings that are being collected. And when you look at fixed deposits, compare the rates that are given on a fixed deposit and the government securities of Uganda, historically they have been better, and not only in Uganda, the products, other products in Uganda. If you compare the bonds in Uganda and the bonds in the region, East African region, for example, Kenya and other colleagues, the Ugandan government bonds have offered the better rates historically, even up to now. So the bonds give you, you're lending to the government, which is considered one of the safest borrowers. And being that the government of Uganda has one of the highest rates, it is something that is considerable. The other thing is what has been mentioned, and I will reiterate it by the investors that we have on the panel. It's the idea of predictability. With a bond, you know exactly when you are going to get your money and how much it will be. So you know the exact amount that will be coming in and what time it will be coming in. So in as much as there are any other market swings that could come in, it is not as prone to any market swings that could affect the bond, just like compared to any other investment options. For example, if you look at equities or any other fixed deposits could be determined by the interest rates that are prevailing. That, you know what, we have to revise this and revise this because of this and this. But here there is predictability of how much you're going to earn. So you can plan the school fees for the coming periods. You can plan your retirement. For example, if you do a bond ladder for 12 months, you plan out, you have a monthly income investing in different bonds. Or for business, for example, Damali, as she mentioned, you plan accordingly and there's cash flows that are coming in. The other thing is, for example, there's liquidity. However much you look at long term, anything can happen, Susan, when you invest in a bond. You can buy a 20-year bond, but along the way, for example, 10 years, you have an emergency, you need to get out of the market, and maybe you return later. What happens then? You can sell off your bond. Unlike maybe a fixed deposit where you fixed your money in for a particular period of time. Here you can sell the bond in the secondary market. You can sell it to a different investor and you end up getting your money out of this. So I commend the other options, the circles, the fixed deposits, the savings box. It's a starting point, really. It's good. It's building a habit, but take it to a different phase. Take it to a step further when you come to the bonds to get the predictability and something that is stable.
Yes, thank you so much, Kasim. So from one of our questions that we had, what would we want to ask? People actually were keen on the bond laddering. If you just explain it briefly on what that is specifically.
Yes. So what a bond ladder is that there are different bonds that the government of Uganda issues. As I mentioned earlier, there's a 2-year bond, for example, the current bonds on the primary market. There is a 2-year, a 3-year, a 5-year, a 10-year, a 20-year, 15-year, 20, and 25. So these are the bonds that are available in the primary market. Even other bonds that are on secondary market that are not on the primary market now, they are there. These different bonds pay different periods. For example, if you look at the 3-year, it pays in June and July. If you look at the 10-year, it pays in May and November. If you look at other bonds, they pay, for example, April and so you get different bonds, you invest, you divide the amounts. You don't put it in one portion. For example, you don't invest in one bond. You divide the money. We invest in a 2-year, we invest in a 5-year, we invest in a 10-year, we invest in a 3-year. So at the end of the day, you have a bond that pays in January. You have a bond that pays you in February, March, April, May, and June. These pay same annually. So a bond that pays you in January will be paying you in December again. A bond that pays you in February will be paying you in November or December, around the same period. So you get to have these monthly cash flows. So someone that is planning a retirement could have this. Someone that is planning cash flows for their businesses, for working capital, or to pay their employees, or any small capital. This is something that they could look into and push forward.
Yes. Oh, that's I couldn't have explained it better. Thank you so much, Kasim, for that. Back to you, Damali. Without discussing any numbers, without you telling us the figures that you've invested, what has been your experience investing and holding bonds over the years? What has that experience felt like? Has it been good? Have you experienced any even challenges? You could tell us, by the way, if you go here, you'll burn your fingers. Just share with us that experience.
Thank you, Susan. So my experience has been seamless. The harder bit is finding the money to invest. And I think why it's been seamless is because I've had such good brokers. I credit and commend Crested Capital that have supported me in this journey, because all that it's taken is always for me to find the money, and then I get in touch with Crested Capital and they will give me all the information I need. They'll guide me on this and that. So that has made the journey easy. But also it's passive income in the very sense of it, because once you have bought that bond, it's like you can go to bed, sleep, do nothing, and wake up on the next day and receive, okay, not next day, but yeah, you totally get the point. wake up and you have this notification of your coupon is coming out on this day. Please tell us what you want us to do with that money. Do you want to eat it or do you want to reinvest it? So it's been seamless. I think because of the brokers, it's been seamless because there's been no time when the coupons have not come through. The challenge, perhaps, that I would point out is the unpredictability in terms of what the rate is going to be when the government actually buys. Because there are times when you deposit that money and because of the patterns and the previous rates that have been on the market, sometimes the predictions don't come out as well, or the projections are not as close to what the government actually buys at. So in that regard, you end up
not Microsoft. Same better security.
Something is interrupting me. And so because of that,
put money in my SCD account.
Something just interrupted my phone. Anyway, sorry about that. So because of that, I think that's the only challenge, that sometimes you don't know what rate the government is really going to buy at. And so if you've done these projections in terms of the return you're going to receive, you can be disappointed. I think that happened sometime last year. I think at the last quarter of last year, there's a bit of disappointment for many investors. But other than that, it's been one of a journey of just passive income where you're happy that you took the decision to invest. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. How about you, Nicholas? What has the journey been like? Was there a moment where you thought to yourself, I really am glad I did this? And also, what challenges have you experienced? Let our investors know that, by the way, yes, it is rosy, but also there are slight bumps and we can be able to improve as a market, or as also on your end, maybe on how, on your journey. What has that been like for you, Nicholas? Nicholas, you can unmute your mic. Unmute your mic.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you, Susan. That's a great question. Hi, Peter, broker. And for me, I am not one of those people who really calculate so much, really. I don't get into the computations. Oh, they want to earn so much. What I aim towards is I have a goal really of how much I want to invest in a given year. So I break it down into monthly targets, right? I honestly don't compute in terms of returns. I'm not a person who is there doing all these computations. My personal theory, maybe not everybody should go with this, is let those technical hard things be dealt with by my stockbroker. What I want at the end of the day for me is my contract notes. And then I also know that I'll get a return every 6 months. So that's what really bothers me. I've not had many issues. As soon as I get the money, I deposit it. Because the capital has made it very seamless for me. At some point in time, actually, I was not in this country, but it was simple as transferring money to the account and really writing an email, I deposited this money, here is a support, invest this money into the bond of XYZ on this date, right? Maybe a 10-year bond or 20-year bond on this date, and that's it, and then I will wait for what they call a contract notes, and as soon as I get that, I'm assured. So for me as an individual, I'm not really worried about returns and how much it's going to give me in terms of returns. For me, my idea is I know the money will come, right? And as long as I invest and hit my targets for a given year, then I'm okay. And then by God's grace, sometimes opportunities open up, and along the way, because of the coupons, I've been able to hit my returns a bit earlier because I kind of tend to reinvest most of my coupon interest. And the process is really not hard. It's one of the most basic, really, because there's a lot of information that is available. My stockbroker is overly communicative, actually. They'll email you when, on this date there's a bond up coming up. On this date, you have coupon interest. What do you want to do with it? On this date, there's something else coming up. So I really, for me, I've not had challenges actually. Like Damali, the big part is getting the money, and after that, I have also made it simple. I will just transfer the money to the account. I am not going to go to either a mobile money agent or deposit money. I simply transfer it. Everything is kind of seamless, really, and I can do it from the comfort of my desk or wherever I am. And I've also realized that it helps to be to establish good rapport with my contact people at Crested Capital. That has been super helpful. And yeah, no major challenges, honestly. For me, I've not had challenges. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kasim and Damali, on those experiences. And what they are really sharing, they are saying, please, people, get in touch with a broker, someone to advise you. I know very many of us are busy, we are up and down, but usually even what we tell the people, because you see, everything has gone digital. People are able to open their accounts without necessarily even entering any broker's office. However, our advice usually as a market is that please, at least that first time, make your first visit to the broker, know where they are located, how many employees do they have, where are they set up, are they legitimate, do they have the licenses? Because when you enter the broker's office, the first display is the licenses of the Capital Markets Authority, that actually they are licensed, and then start that journey with them, then get to know who is the really the actual contact person in regards to the different investments. If it is equities, there are people that are assigned. If it is bond investments, there are still people assigned, so that rapport can continue and build now online. Because remember, they'll have met you, they know you, and then now it's easy to have conversations. Actually, these the brokerage firms are so flexible that even you have their personal contact, you have their personal WhatsApps, so it's very easy for you to call them at any time. Their emails are accessible. Both Dan, Blair, Omig, and Crested Capital, they're all sending out market reports of what is happening in the market, and some of us unsubscribe to those communications, and so now you find you'll not even be able to know when the coupons are you're not able to know when there is a bond auction or when you need to get a valuation. And bonds, which is different from equities, is a platform whereby actually the brokers can be able to send you a valuation. Remember what Damal, you said that some rates came out as unexpected. So that means they had made a discussion with a broker and they were projecting a certain way. And maybe if it didn't land, it is also okay. So usually bond investments, before you make any investments, the broker at least tentatively shows you what is going to be the return so that you even plan your cash flows. So please, people, I'm going to post the broker's details at the tail end here. Please reach out to them, visit them, get to know them, and then your experience will be much, much better. Do not get stuck at your offices or at your homes or your businesses. This is your investment. This is your money. You need to know where it's actually flowing to. Maybe Kasim, for you who is a broker, I want you to practically take us, because people are asking us, practically take us through how do I get onboarded? How do I get started? Because they want to know my journey from just being a person who has no account. They want to know from start to finish. If they came to Dan Blair today, how are they going to do it? Please walk us through that journey.
Thank you, Susan. Yeah, so how do we onboard people? First of all, you must have an SCD. You must have an SCD. So you should create an SCD. This can be done either when you visit us at Dan Blair or when you at your place. So either way, if you want to do this, you can actually do it from your home. So there are ways you can maybe send an email and tell them that I want to create an account. But easier ways right now, you can do it from your phone at the comfort of your home or office. So you use the USD portal, platforms. So for MTN, I think it is *165 65 hash, and then for Airtel it is *185 *85. For those that you follow the prompts and then you go ahead. You can also visit the SCD portal for the Uganda Securities Exchange. and then go ahead and follow the prompts and then create an SCD. So what happens when if an investor walks into Diane Blair, for example, they come in, they are new to this. We first of all take them through what it means. For example, if someone is interested in bonds, we take them through what it means to invest in bonds. So we tell them this is the likelihood of this happening, the likelihood of this not happening. This is you're likely to achieve this. So we walk them through. We give them full as some of the panelists, the investors have just elaborated. We take you through each entire thing of how everything works. Then we open up your account. If you walk in, it will be easy. We direct you the paperwork, you fill in. It's very easy. You fill in and then you're done. And then we tell you, we walk you through, for example, the auction and how it happens. We walk you through the secondary market. If, for example, if you missed a bond and now we can get it on the secondary market, we walk you through that. And then you just deposit the funds, for example, on a designated account. And from there, you give us your instructions. You do not, after you've come to us and understood, open an account, you don't have to come back again. If you're outside the country, if you are in the village, you just send an email. You just send the funds and then tell us, I need the funds to be directed to such and such a bond in the coming auction. We'll confirm receipt and we'll go ahead. And then afterwards, we share the results with you and the contracts and everything for you to know that you got through. It's traded at this price as the Bank of Uganda indicated, and then you have it on your portfolio.
Yes. And maybe someone is asking about the acronyms. What is an SCD? Kasim, what is an SCD?
Okay, so an SCD, it's a security central deposit account, which is basically your individual account. For example, as you have a national ID, whereby if they put in this national ID into any NIRA incorporated system, they get to have information about you. This is an SCD that is supposed to hold all your holdings, all your investments. For example, if you have equities, if you have bonds, this is supposed to bring out everything you hold into that SCD. So most of the questions that we receive as Dan Blair when clients walk in, what happens if Dan Blair closes one day? Will I lose my holdings? You will not. This is the importance of the SCD. The SCD is overseen by the Uganda Securities Exchange, and it's not up to us. So it's them that even approve that SCD to be for you to have it. So we just apply to the Uganda Securities Exchange. You get that account, and it's this account that holds the equities, the bonds, all the investment that you might have. Any investment that will come up on the Uganda Securities Exchange and you're holding them, they will be under one SCD, and that will be your SCD, your account. It's an account number that you hold and should hold everything that you have. So it will help you actually to track where you are. Has anything happened to your shares? What is happening in on your valuation that you're holding? It is something that holds everything that you'll be having.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kasim. And indeed, that once you have opened that account at the Uganda Securities Exchange, it is seamless. For those who go through USSD, it's an instant message back. For those that use the online platform, which captures a bit more detail, because also the advantage with the USSD is that you get the SCD number quickly. However, we do not capture those other details, like say an email address, and so you'll have to log on to the Easy Portal online and amend with a broker, so that is also captured. So maybe for those who want to ensure that their details are done once and for all, you use the online platform, and that account, the moment it is approved by Diane Blair, the moment you put it now on the system through the online system, Dan Blair will approve it within less than 5 minutes. The USC will also have approved it. So you'll be able to, if you do it within 20 minutes, you should be having an SCD account that has been opened for you if everything is okay as you have uploaded it. Maybe just before we go into the closing remarks for Nicholas and Damali, there are these questions that came in that they wanted you to ask through our Mentimeter game that we're able to play earlier. And maybe this I would want to ask Nicholas, how can I keep learning and staying with a discipline, like tracking my investments? And if I start with 100K, do I pay it monthly? do I make that deposit on a monthly basis? Someone wants to know.
Thank you, Susan. That's another good question. Yeah. So for people who really want to develop a discipline and really to start with relatively small amounts of money, like 100K. And to be honest, I actually said about that. And what I did is the typical things you hear about every day. As soon as I get money, I plan for how I'm going to use it. I draw up what they call a simple budget, which is simply telling my money where it's going to go, right? For me, because I'm doing this long term, I really didn't worry about very big money at the start. I simply worried about, okay, as long as I know I'm going to start, I'm going to do this for a very long time, Now it's been about 10 plus years really of doing this. And fortunately, like any other person, with career progression, the money begins to increase along the way. Because of the increase in my money, I end up also increasing the amount I was dedicating to my investments and bonds. And with that, because of the increase in investment, then the coupon returns were a bit higher. So it made my journey a bit more smooth. So yeah, I agree that if you're like me, many years ago and have small money, all you have to do is basically just decide, right, that you want to do this. My colleague on the call, Cassie, mentioned about things like bond calendar. When I started, for me, I even didn't know all that, right? I relied on emails from my stockbroker. They would email me and say, next week there is this bond auction. And they put these instructions, invest your money before this, they put a date. And that's what I did, right? For me, I really knew that as long as I'm dealing with a licensed broker, I did not really, okay, I got information on the basics. I educated myself on the basic, really. But along the way, these things like John is mentioning, Kasim is mentioning, like laddering and everything, I've come to know them along the way. I did not know all these things from the start. So for me, my check was, okay, is a firm licensed? Like, I think like Susan, you mentioned, I went to their office and then I saw, these people are seemingly legit. There's a whole workforce here. People have computers. People have like systems. So clearly, there's some evidence that this is a legit firm, right? And once that happened, I decided to learn along the way. The personal philosophy I have is you can't know everything, right? Like, like we kind of share. Let me be good at what I do. Other people are good at what they do. So I knew from the back of my mind that the people at Crested Capital are best suited to do some things. They even know some things more than me. And I got to know what is it that was required on my end. And then I satisfied my side of the bargain or my side of the story. And my philosophy then was they will do their part, right? And along the way, I kept learning. I'm pretty knowledgeable and conversant with this bond thing today. But when I started, honestly, I wasn't as knowledgeable about it as I am today. So to your question, so somebody just having little money is really just making a decision. And we all get through challenges of life, But if somebody has made a decision that what I'm investing is, let's say, 100K every month, right? As long as you decide, just make it easy. When the money comes, do a direct debit, do a direct debit to your stockbroker, or whoever your selected agent is, and then they will take it on from there. So that is what has helped me. And then number two, regarding how somebody can educate themselves, I think today really the information on bonds is relatively available. Thank God for technology. Today information is there really. If somebody wanted to check the BOA website, they will get access to the bond calendar, they will have access to the USE portal. There's lots of information there. People today, ordinary people like you and I, today know about these bond things maybe more than a decade ago. So thanks to the education that the US is giving, I think that as long as you really want to have knowledge on this, really you will not fail today. There is lots of people, and interestingly, people are super helpful to share this knowledge. I have met people who have been so helpful to me, and It's like the grace of God for those of us who are believers. You don't know them, but somebody is basically opening up all this knowledge to you, right? All this information. And for me, that has been super, super helpful. The other side of the bargain is then me trying to put in practice what they have mentioned. And then number two, trying to be a cordial person, like keeping in touch with those people, asking them when I have questions, or if I have any queries, immediately I'll reach out to them. Yeah, I think those are the basics of what I would advise somebody who has little money to start, and then really not to bog yourself into the terminology, because financial jargons. I'm an accountant, and sometimes those financial jargons they seem complex, but keep it simple, right? Keep it simple, like they say, keep it simple, stupid. Just keep it simple. Just ask somebody. I like the question on somebody explaining your board in very man's language, and I think my colleague Kasim did a good job on that. But keep it simple. Forget about the things of premium, and as you get to know, it will become easier. They will become more obvious. But if you try to know everything at the start, it may be cumbersome. I think for me, the bare basics is know that a firm is registered and where they are really, and that's it. And are they regulated, basically? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Over to you, Damali. Damali, people are asking, one, can you get a loan against your bond? Can you get a loan facility? And two, also they want to know, in regards, have you been able to explore the secondary market, and what was your experience in the secondary market? How was it?
Thank you, Susan. The question about the loan, can you get a loan against the bond? I mean, even as a lawyer, I know that your bond is your asset. It's your asset. It's your money. It's just kept somewhere else. And at any one time, if you want to liquidate, you can actually liquidate. That means that they can sell it to someone else and then you get the proceeds. So I've not done it, but I know that you can use it as security. Have I explored the secondary market? I think the only time I've not bought on the secondary market, but the only time I think I tried to exploit is when I was selling. Yeah. And the return was not as good as the one the government gives. I think I had something I needed to do and I liquidated of the secondary market, but I've not bought of the secondary market.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So maybe what that is to address the question that also someone asked, that what are the risks in the secondary market? The secondary market is not a bad market. It's a good market, especially when rates are falling. The only reason that the secondary market becomes dangerous for you is when you are selling at a time when rates are going up. Currently, everyone who bought last year bonds, I mean, they bought at very high yields, so those are very good sellers. So if they sold their bonds in the secondary market right now, they would really be selling them off at good returns. However, if the market now changes and now the market is on the high side, you'll find that maybe if you bought at 17 and now the market is 18, and that's where the bond rates are, then you find that maybe if you're a bond holder at the time, you may not be able to sell. So now back again, you must have an advisor. That is, you must have a broker, someone that is actually there to handhold you and tell you, by the way, we have these bonds. Is it the best time to be able to sell or to buy? And then they'll be able to give you that guidance, because once you go to the secondary market, then you're able to invite risk. Yeah. So the risk of either making money or losing a bit of money. Yeah, so maybe just I think for those that were asking WHT for foreigners, withholding tax for foreigners. So the withholding tax for foreigners is the same across the board, even for the locals. Bonds that are above 10 years will be 10%. Bonds that are less than 10 years will be 20%. Are there any extra charges? Of course, as a foreigner, if you're taking out your money, that means you're going to incur incur some FX. So that means you FX charges. That means you're going to have to convert your money. So it's very critical that you engage your bank and the broker at the time of payment so that you can be able to get the best exchange rate as money is being sent back to you. But in regards to the taxes, both locals and foreigners have the same WHT when they're being paid the coupons. Yeah, the minimum, I mean, they already talked about the minimum of how much should be sold. How much you can invest, that is 100,000 Uganda shillings. But of course, the brokers will be able to advise you on what would maybe seem, but 100,000 is the stated government minimum, and they'll be able to deploy that. However, like I said, advice is always better. So you're able to see if I invested 100,000, how much is it going to be? How consistent should it be so that I am able to maximize my return? So that you're not also one of those investors that says that that is our language, isn't it? People are asking, how do we access the portal calendar? You can do that through the Uganda Securities Exchange portal. So we have the government securities side. So you'll see auction calendar, you'll see a calculator in there. So you're able to calculate by there for yourself bonds and be able to estimate what price am I going to pay. If the rate went to this much, how much? However, if you want to have a walkthrough with that through that calculator, which is very easy to use, your broker should be able to help. But also we shall be having a webinar very soon in regards to our easy portal tools so that we can be able to train you on how to use a bond calculator and all the rest. So there are those who are saying we belong to other brokers that are not necessarily bond investors currently, that is SBG Securities and Cheaper Cash. Currently, they are working on their paperwork to be able to be dealers for bond investments. But however, if you want to start, I mean, there is nothing that should stop you. Remember, these SCD accounts can be also linked to other brokers. So you can be able to link to any of your choice, that is Crested Capital, Dan Blair, or Old Mutual Uganda, and the same SCD account that you have with SBG can also be able to trade with the other broker for bonds, and then you keep the other link for the equities with SBG Securities. So it's very possible you can have multiple brokers, and that is to Cecilia Kasozi, who has asked that they have an account, but their broker is not able to do it for them right now. Then how do we get to know the offers from the Bank of Uganda? Please, the brokers are sending out that communication through the email. So sign up and get onto their email. They are going to be giving you the auction is this week. Even when the results come out, they tell you what the results are. So you will get the real rate of the market. These are not shenanigans that over you'll get a different rate. The reason why they're even as transparent as possible to send you the results is because the same as given to Bank of Uganda is the same that they are going to give to you. So you're buying directly from the central bank. And just maybe, if I believe we have answered most of those questions that are there, people are asking for contacts for Damali, and I believe they have shared. Even Nicholas, please do share for those who would really want to, maybe there are certain questions that they would want to ask privately. Maybe you could share your email so they can be able to reach out. And I've also been able to share that broker details for all the other brokers that you can be able to choose from. Kasim, as we close off, what is that one thing that you want people to live with this morning, that, you know what, I'm starting my journey of investment? What is that one thing that you want them to know as everyday Ugandans, that, by the way, these things are no longer very far from you? Kasim.
Susan, from this very webinar that we've just had right now, one thing has been made clear by the participants, the investors that we have on this market. You don't have to have it all in terms of knowledge, in terms of money. Just try to start. You'll be guided accordingly. So it does not have to be you know what this means, what the other means. You eventually get to know along the way, just like Nicholas mentioned. For him, we got to learn about other things along the way. But again, the information is out there now. So you only invest as much as you are exposed. So it's the exposure that we are creating as the Uganda Securities Exchange and the academy and the stakeholders like the brokers, for example, Diane Blair and the other brokers, Old Mutual, Crested Capital. We are coming out here to give out information, to expose you to different investment assets, to create this knowledge out there for you to understand, for you to ask questions, for you to get started. So please get started. Reach out to any brokers. You can reach out to us or any interested, if you're interested in any other brokerage firm, reach out, get to understand what it means to invest in a bond. We've took it upon ourselves, for example, as a Dan Blair, that if a client has questions, we'll sit them down and give them the knowledge for free. If they have something, for example, someone wants to structure a bond ladder, we create that and accordingly with the amount they have, what they want to achieve. For example, they have a target of, let's say 500, 2 million every month. How much would be needed? We structure that, send you everything. So we give you knowledge basically for free. It's not, we don't charge anything. We give you the knowledge such that you get exposed, you get interested. So start, you get the knowledge, you get the money along the way. And I wish you all the best with your investments. We are here for you. Please come through.
Thank you so much, Kasim. I've just posted Kasim's email as well and phone number. Please reach out to him immediately after this for those that really want to be able to open up the accounts and start their journey. Damali, what would you, if you're seated with a friend here or a stranger, what would you want to tell them are the first two things that they need to do before they can get started on their bond investment journey?
Thank you, Susan. The two things that I would tell them is one, find a broker because the journey is much easier with a broker. All the questions you have should be answered and will be answered by the broker. The other one is start small. Do not wait to be so wealthy or to have so much at your disposal with as little as 100. In fact, that's how I also started. And I started with treasury bills. So start as small as you can and build towards a much bigger portfolio and find a broker.
Okay, thank you. The same goes to you, Nicholas. Nicholas, what would you tell people as they're getting started? What is that one thing you want to leave them with?
Thank you so much, Susan. In addition to what Damal and Kasim have mentioned, for me, mine would be to be intentional, really. Just be intentional and also to think really long term. It helps to think long term. Then I would add that at least to view bonds as part of like diversification of whatever your portfolio is, right? I look at my bond investments as part of a broader financial strategy for me. They don't necessarily replace my savings or my other investments in other different facets of life, but they kind of helped create that balance and that stability over time. So, and they have really been super helpful because, like Damali mentioned, sometimes things just go south. And what really has helped me, weather the storm is these investments bonds. So think about it as part of a broader financial strategy. Think about it in terms of financial stability. Think about it in terms of regular income. Think about it as, like Dama was mentioning, something you earn money and you just sleep and earn money, and that's sweet because sometimes you just wake up and some money is coming through. Costed Capital emails me, you have this maturity coming up, and then you can do the big things in life or enjoy some of the luxuries that we have in life, be it a trip for family or that's some form of investment in future projects. Yeah, really, for me, my key things are diversification, being intentional, and think about it as part of a broader financial strategy. Not necessarily, it's bonds, but think about it, whatever your other investments are, bonds are just part of that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. It's now 19 minutes past 11, and I just wanted to quickly invite John to just briefly speak on the upcoming webinars. And I just want to say a big thank you to Nicholas, to Damali, to Kasim for really answering all our questions. Their contacts are there, and those contacts specifically for the brokers, their WhatsApp contacts, so they can be able to, you can be able to WhatsApp them. But locations. Old Mutual is located on Nakawa Business Park on the 5th floor. Actually, for us, we're on the 4th floor, so they are on the 5th floor. So you can even pass by the Uganda Securities Exchange and visit us, and then go up to the 5th floor. Then Dan Blair is located on it's just right at behind the High Court, that is on Renzori Towers. So for those that are working in the Central Business District, you cannot say that there isn't a broker in the middle of town. Dan Blair is right there ready to attend to you. Crested Capital, is located on Rumi Tower. Rumi Tower is just right next on Lumumba Avenue, just right opposite Piato, if you know Piato. So both Dan Blair and Crested Capital are within walking distance from each other, so you can be able to plug in on the different plug into the different. If you're on the Nakawa side, you work in Kololo side, Old Mutual is on this other side. So please do not say that you're not able to meet them. You just enter, you're asking for Penklin, at Crested, you're asking for Melissa, at Dan Blair, you're asking for Kasim and Aaron as well, to be able to support you on this investment journey. So I'll quickly allow John to be able to say something about the USC Academy on the upcoming webinars, and we will just close it off and wish you a lovely day. Over to you, John.
Thank you, Susan. I'll step in for John. Is responding to
Yes, sir. Thank you so much,
the
sir.
question. Okay. Let me first of all, from the USC Academy, appreciate our panelists, the moderator, and everyone on the call. It's been a good discussion, and as the Academy, we continue to educate the public as much as we can with these pieces of information. We know we are raising future investors, or even giving confidence to the existing ones. And as the Academy, we appreciate you. And just to give you a few updates on the upcoming events in terms of education still, we are having our next webinar, 11th June, and this will be on market, the new calendar, the opportunities that you can embrace. We'll be discussing the calendar and bringing you up to speed with all the opportunities that you can embrace. We know very well that an informed investor is a protected one. So the best you can do is learn and then put to practice. There you will have really made us proud as the Academy. We have upcoming trainings that you could engage in that could also give you value and a certificate to put to be part of your documents of learning. We have in June, we have the bond market still. You can be part of the cohort that is going to be studying the bond market, where we can give you a certificate. And also, I think John will help me to share a calendar, and so you see. But also in July, we'll be having ESG. You need to know how to invest, putting in consideration sustainability and how you can integrate sustainability into your investments. We shall have introduction to capital markets sometime in August. So be informed that even as we offer these webinar classes, we also have other classes where you can attain a certificate as an investor, as someone who really is interested in knowing more about the capital markets. So with that, I would like to end it at that. You can always reach out on us on our email displayed on the screen. We appreciate you for sparing the time to learn and we shall appreciate you even more when you put this information you have learned into practice by investing while you are well informed. Thank you so much, Susan. I think that is it from me. Over to you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Our next webinar will be in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and basically it will be highlighting the year that was for the calendar that we are finalizing in the month of June, and also looking ahead to what the government will be offering in the new calendar that starts at the beginning of July. So we are expecting that calendar out. Once it's out, we should be able to set the webinar to be able to take you through it, and of course get you ready for the new investment year that it will be. So we want to thank you. We hope that we have been able to answer most of your questions. This particular webinar will be on our YouTube channel, so in the event you want to go and catch it and repeat, please feel free to go to our YouTube channel. It will be uploaded before the end of the day today. So we want to thank you and have yourselves an awesome afternoon. Thank you.